Hello everybody, Shigaturi here with another Fallout no-hit tutorial, this time with Fallout New Vegas. This is going to be the any percent yes man route. It is a pretty quick run, should be able to get it pretty consistently in around an hour. Not too bad on the setup front or anything like that. Definitely a nice, easy introduction to Fallout New Vegas hitless running, or Fallout hitless running in general. Um, so let's hop on into it. First off, before we get into it though, I should mention that you'll want to cap your frame rate to 60 and have a frame counter to show it. If you are planning on submitting to Team Hitless, the expected difficulty is normal. You can do runs on a higher difficulty than normal, but normal is the minimum for team submission. Uh, with that being said, let's get into it. I have this run pre-recorded here, as you can see. I recorded this a couple minutes ago, and then now I'm doing the post commentary. So when you hop into the game, it's going to be a pretty normal start. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Fast New Vegas menuing, when the pop-ups go up, you want to hit up on the arrow keys and then enter to quickly get through those dialogue boxes. Character creation is pretty simple. That is not the correct button. But character creation is going to be pretty simple here. You'll want to pick a female courier for the purposes of Black Widow. Other than that, cosmetic stuff doesn't matter. I always make my hair pink in the Bethesda games that will let me. I'm looking at you, Fallout 4. Just because, I don't know, I like doing it. But yeah, the only thing important as far as the visual customization is selecting a female courier for Black Widow.
Well, I got most of it right anyway. Stuff that mattered. Okay, no sense keeping you in bed anymore. Let's see if we can get you on your feet. Good. Why don't you walk down to the end of the room, over by that vigor tester machine there. Take it slow now. It ain't a race. Ooh, looking good so far. Go ahead and give the vigor tester a try.
Now, for our special spread, we are going to be leaving strength at 5. We are going to be putting perception up to 8, dumping in both endurance and charisma, pushing intelligence up to 10, agility up to 10, and luck will stay at 5. So this right here, this is our final special spread. We bump perception for actually the increase in base lock picking, which you'll see why we do that in a little bit. Endurance only affects unarmed as well as base health in New Vegas, and when you're not getting hit, base health doesn't matter, and we're not doing an unarmed run, so unarmed doesn't matter. Anyone who's played much New Vegas knows that charisma is always a dump stat. It only really affects its derivative stats, and companion nerve, which is nigh irrelevant even if you use companions. Intelligence at 10 gives us the maximum amount of skill points on every level up. Agility gives us some base guns as well as extra AP. We don't really use much of that in this run, but it is nice to have. And then luck 5 staying the same.
Look at that. Maybe them bullets done your brain some good. Well, we know your vitals.
That'll be the dialogues that Doc Mitchell gives when you have your most extreme stat of intelligence at the highest. Definitely nice to hear that instead of frontal lobe damage, which you usually hear when you set your intelligence to 9. We obviously aren't going to be spending the time to get the implants in the hospital, so no reason to. Set it only to 9. For our tag skills, we're going to be going with Lockpick, as well as Sneak and Speech. Those are pretty much the only skills we're going to be using throughout the run. Not much use for any of the others for this particular route.
Just a formality. Ain't like I expect to find you got a family history of getting shot in the head.
And then as far as the wonderful trait system goes, we're going to go with Good-Natured. For a run like this, you could also take Skilled, but Skilled does decrease your experience gains. Where Good-Natured, once again, we're not really using... We don't need high weapon stats, so losing all of our weapon stats to get +5 in all the stats we're actually using just makes the most sense to not take the debuff. As well as Logan's Loophole, we're not going to be getting anywhere near level 30. I think we end the run somewhere around level 11, level 10. So the double duration on chems is going to be very helpful. So that's our reasoning for that. Once you're out of the chair, go ahead and talk to Doc Mitchell, say no to hardcore mode, and head on out of the house. Once you're out, you can press F3 to immediately open the data menu, head on over to the Goodsprings fast travel. It's slightly faster than walking over. DLC pop-ups are going to be the same thing as the courier stash pop-ups. Up arrow, enter to mash through them as fast as you can. They'll kind of pop up at awkward times, though, so you'll probably not be able to mash them super well. We're going to grab this meeting people here in the Prospector Saloon. And then head on over to Sunny. You can pop a quick wait to get her into position and get her to give you the gun faster. Quickly take the shots at the bottles with the varmint rifle. You have to do this with a gun of some kind. You can't do it with melee. Sunny will be very unimpressed if you just hit them with a baseball bat. So once we've done that, end the tutorial, because we don't want to deal with the whole gecko segment, and we want the game to advance past the tutorial for something in a little bit. We're going to go ahead and equip the Mercenaries grenade rifle here. In Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 as well, your movement speed is affected by what weapon you have equipped and whether you have it held out or not. So if you want to move slightly faster, you could wait to equip the grenade launcher, but I just equipped it a little early because I was thinking about it. But even with it holstered, it does still slightly slow your movement speed. It's a very, very minor amount. Now up here, we're going to hit the "Are you sure your character's good?" screen. As well as there's a coyote up here. You can see it there on the screen. It won't always be on the screen. Let's get a better shot of that here. It won't always be on the screen. As you can see, it's right here. Sometimes it'll be down over here, kind of back and around. You just want to kind of watch it. Be aware of if it aggroes. It doesn't have great perception and tends to not be looking in your direction anyway, so you should be fine. But just keep an eye on it. Be aware of its existence. You can also just snipe it with the grenade launcher if you want to. Nothing stopping you from doing that. It's pretty weak. It's a pretty squishy enemy. But we are going to continue this way. We are heading on over to the Khan's camp in Red Rock Canyon. Of course, we'll be doing the Yes Man ending, so we do have to say hi to all the wonderful factions. Don't have to do any of their quests, just have to be aware of their existence enough to tell them to fuck off. So coming up here, we're going to look out over the tribal, I think it's Tribal Camp, is I believe what the location is called. There are a bunch of Cazadors in here. From this vantage point, the Cazadors will not path up to you, so you can safely rain death on them with the Mercenary Grenade Launcher. Now, in your run, you will probably do a little bit more damage to these Cazadors. I accidentally recorded this on hard instead of normal, as I intended to. Oopsies, we'll see that when I do the difficulty check at the end. If you're submitting for Team Hitless, make sure you do show difficulty at some point in the run. But as you can see, we're just raining death on the Cazadors. Shouldn't take too terribly long. They won't path up to you. Once they're all dead, you can head on down the cliff. Just be careful not to fall down too aggressively. You also get a level up from it. I would say go ahead and dump these into Sneak fully, as we won't be needing speech right away. And for level 2 perk, Black Widow. As we mentioned before, Black Widow will be very useful for dealing with Benny. So now that all of these... Okay, Tribal Village, not Tribal Camp. Oops. But now that we've gotten through all the Cazadors, there's nothing else really in our way on the way to Red Rock here. It's a pretty simple pathing that we'll be taking here. Just pretty much straight into the canyon. There are a couple of... I always forget their name. They're like... I don't think they're infected Brahmin. They're like enraged Brahmin or something like that. I forget the word they give them. The Brahmin that are automatically aggroed to you. There's a couple of them near here. Or is it Bighorners? Looks like it's Bighorners. No. Yes, those are Bighorners. Okay, well, they're Bighorners over here. And you just don't get too close to them, but otherwise you should be fine. They're not particularly fast enemies, so just stay far enough away from them that they are not going to get super pissy at you, and you should be okay. And heading into Red Rock here, there are going to be a couple of nice little pickups that we'll be grabbing for later in the run. Anyone who has messed around with the Khan's quest lines know that they are a fan of cooking some good stuff. So we'll be procuring a turbo from one of their tents, as well as procuring a Legion outfit from Carl and his little lockbox in just a minute here. The condition for meeting the Khans is quite literally getting up to a certain point into the camp. So at this point, we've already completed the objective of going here by discovering Red Rock and meeting the Khans, despite the fact we haven't talked to anybody. But we're going to keep heading into the camp. Over here, these tents... There is a turbo in the other open tent as well. We are only going to be using one for this route, but if you want another one for safety in a given location, the pickup is right there, not too far out of the way at all, and not a big deal. Once we get that, fast travel back to Red Rock, head on to the Longhouse, head on into here. We're going to make sure we're hidden, open this footlocker, and grab a set of Legion armor. We'll be using that disguise later during the dam segment. After that, fast travel on back to Goodsprings. We're going to pop into the saloon and go ahead and wrap up back in the saddle. Just hop on up, talk to Trudy. That will... finish the quest, and we can head on back out. You don't have to listen or wait for Joe Cobb to do his yapping or anything like that. We're going to head on over to the area where he sits after that dialogue. He's actually rather fast, so funny enough, when we get there in a second here, he will turn around. We're going to grab the caravan shotgun. So you see he's very fast. If he's not there, you can wait, but you shouldn't have to. He's very speedy. Sneak attack, crit him in the head with the shotgun. Should knock him out in one hit, nice and easy. Go ahead and take everything off of him. The main item that we're grabbing off of him is a stealth boy. We'll be using 2 stealth boys throughout this run, and that is where we acquire the first one. Now... VLC works. Okay, well, I don't have don't have fast forward buttons right now, so we're gonna skim through this section here. This is the running section over towards Hidden Valley. You want to take this pathing here of cresting over this hill. Just a little bit faster than walking down the road. Come up here. And then path down this way. There are some dogs that can spawn over on the left. Kind of by this rail car over here that you can see I'm circling with my mouse. You'll see their compass pips show up in a second as well. Just be aware of them. As long as you've killed Joe Cobb without anyone seeing it, the powder gangers here on this section will not be mad at you at all. You can just walk right past them without any issue whatsoever. But now we're going to be walking down this way and over towards this little bit of the hill here. We're going to be looking to walk just to the right of this big mountain here. Head on up, walk in until we get the Hidden Valley fast travel location, and back on out. After that, you can either hug this mountain or kind of path down through here under this bridge and into Sloan. There's not really much of a difference in the pathings. The only thing you have to worry about in this kind of area is bark scorpions, which are small enough to where you can definitely get caught off guard by them if they're hiding behind a little rock and you don't see them. But they're also relatively slow and not too bad to take out. So just, keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of potential bark scorpions. Always be watching your compass pips. As you can see, the red marker there, red marker there. So I'm watching out, looking for them, making sure I don't get too angry with them. You don't necessarily want to get this close to Hidden Valley. I pathed a little bit too close to it on this run, but as you can see, this is not a super precise running section necessarily. Just make sure you are avoiding the bark scorpions. The two main ones you might actually have to deal with are these two over the crest of this hill. Courier has pretty good movement speed, so depending on where they're at, you should be able to outrun them. I did not mean to lower the volume. Thank you, VLC. But you shouldn't have to worry too much about them running you down. But if you are concerned about how close they are, a couple pumps with the caravan shotgun should take them out without much issue. Or if you want to do it from further range, the mercenary grenade rifle is always nice as long as you are far enough away to not blow yourself up. Gonna walk on over here to Neil's shack. Neil is always gonna run on up to you and engage in a dialogue. We just want to tell him goodbye because we do not need to do anything in relation to the Black Mountain quest. We are just pathing on through here. You'll want to crouch through this section. It does seem a little scary to be doing this at daytime, but because of the pathing we've taken, the enemy positions are going to be consistent. The time of day is going to be consistent. So this is actually a little more consistent than you might think it looks, as long as you're not waiting too much or messing around with the time of day outside of what we've done here. The super mutants like to sit at the checkpoints during the day. They kind of like to roam a little bit more during some parts of the night. Once you get to Hidden, you should be fine to uncrouch and keep on moving. We're going to be walking up here to the NCR uniform that is on this NCR trooper. Feel free to just loot all. We have enough carry capacity that we can loot all most of the containers that we loot without filling up. Once you do loot him, you want to back off because, as you can see, there are a bunch of rocks that will come tumbling down. Disarm these bear traps. 1, 2, and 3. And then come on off to the side here because the big boulder will come on down. Watch out for the smaller boulders that can sometimes follow it. Those will hit you, those will do damage, and it will be a very sad day. Once the trap has been navigated through, we're going to head north-northeast over to the Repcon headquarters, I think. Repcon something. My brain always just thinks of it as Repcon. Despite Repcon test facility being the other thing, but we're gonna head on over to there. A simple walk. There shouldn't be any enemies here in the way. We're gonna grab the Repcon headquarters fast travel location right here. And we're going to head east over to the, the 188 trade stop, rest stop. Once again, location names are apparently not my strong suit today. We're just gonna walk straight east. You can see it up on the bridge right ahead of us there. Right up here, just a nice straight walk. Follow the road. Boom, 188 trading post. Once that's discovered, fast travel back to Repcon. And we are going to be heading north. We're going to be heading specifically to Camp McCarran because it is time to enter the strip. That is why we grabbed that suit of NCR armor. Disguises are a wonderful thing in Fallout New Vegas, and they are very useful for getting you into certain areas, the biggest of which being the strip. There are a couple ways of getting in the strip, either by paying the 2,000 caps that you need to get in the normal way. You can pay less caps and get a passport forged at Mick and Ralph's. Or, what is the easiest and cheapest way to get into the strip is to use an NCR disguise and use the Camp McCarran monorail. So as you can see, we're just going to be walking north right up to the side of Camp McCarran here. Pretty simple pathing, just stick to the wall here. We're going to turn the corner, keep staying next to it, turn the corner again, and into Camp McCarran itself. Pretty straightforward. Head on to the front entrance of Camp McCarran. Once you're in here, you will want to put on the NCR uniform, which will disguise you as an NCR soldier and let you safely traverse through the monorail without getting gunned down.
Go right ahead, Trooper.
Once you are in here, go ahead and open these doors. They'll open outward, so don't get too close to the doors or they'll smack you out of the way. You can sometimes bypass this guy's little dialogue, but just, you know, basically tell him to go away. And here we are in the strip.
Howdy, partner.
Victor will let us know that Mr. House wants to see us, but we're not going to worry about that quite yet because we have a Benny to kill. And a Ultra Lux to meet. We won't be doing Beyond the Beef or anything like that. Just head on over to the Ultra Lux. Walk on in, and all we're going to be doing is just getting a conversation with Mortimer. When you go into the casinos, just let them take your weapons. There's not really any combat we're going to be doing in the casinos or anything like that, so just let them take the weapons, get through the dialogue, and then do your business and walk back out.
How may I be of
So once we've talked to Mortimer, we are now intimately familiar with the inner workings of the Ultralux and are able to confidently tell Yes Man that we do not give a damn. Now, after our Ultralux pit stop, it is to the tops.
Who wants to swim? Water's fine.
And as you can see, I crashed here. If you do encounter a crash, you can reload your most recent quicker autosave to get back into the game without losing too much progress. Crashes are relatively common in these games, unfortunately, but
Hey, baby.
as you can see, it loaded the autosave that was done right as I entered the tops, so no time lost realistically, other than the small amount of crash time.
What in the god?
We're gonna go through all the Black Widow dialogue with Benny. On this level up, we're going to start dumping speech. On this level up, we are also going to start dumping speech. We're going to take comprehension, we're going to take educated this time. You can also take comprehension now. You can take either in either order. We will be getting enough XP to get comprehension by the time we use our first skill magazine. So either order really works. Technically, if you want to min-max, educated first gets you 2 extra skill points over the course of the run, then comprehension first. Or, no, it gets you 4 extra, actually. So, yep, we are going to have sex with Benny. Shake them Charlies for the Ben Man, eh? And he's dead. Loot the platinum ship off his corpse and give a good old chat to good old Yes Man. Mostly stick to the top dialogue options here until he asks you if, let me go back and show you that dialogue a bit better. You're gonna go through the top dialogue options until, this one right here, where you can see, so I should ask these tribes if they'll support an independent Vegas. Hit that. Ask which tribes you should get to know. And that will get that started. Throw more into speech. Now, if you really want to min-max your skill points, you can stop pumping speech once you hit speech 75, because with Benny's suit, you'll get 5 speech, as well as the meeting people we grabbed earlier with comprehension will give you 20 speech, and you'll have enough, so you can stop at 75 if you like. The amount of skill points you have in this run is pretty generous, and by the end, we're mostly relying on Stealth Boys for our sneak anyway, so it's not super tight, but just keep that in mind if you're wanting to min-max your skill point spread. You can stop pumping speech at 75. Once you've gotten speech as high as you want it to, you're going to be going into sneak. We're going to grab that locksmith's reader, which we will be using momentarily, and head on out of the tops.
Hey, there's the high roller.
Make sure that you talk to Volpes in Calta. You also want to be very aware of the NCR soldier that is trying to talk to you at the moment. He can and will softlock your game if you do not let him speak to you at certain points. So to be safe, just wait until he talks to you before trying to enter any buildings, or you can and will get softlocked because of when he tries to speak to you. It's not a problem if you're not trying to go fast, but if you are trying to go fast, you can beat him to doors, and then things get bad when you beat him to doors. We're now going to go ahead and give the platinum chip to Mr. House. We're doing this now so that we get access to the presidential suite. There's a couple sorry, not presidential suite, my bad, the cocktail lounge. I always get the names of the two confused. So we're going to do this now so that we get access to the cocktail lounge now. Yes Man will not give you access to the cocktail lounge for some reason, so you have to get access to it through Mr. House by either talking to him and then going and killing Benny and agreeing to go get it, or doing it this way where we go get the platinum chip first and then give it to Mr. House to start the little sequence here. I'm just gonna bump through this. You just kind of have to wait for Mr. House to explain his missiles. There's definitely a faster way to get through this dialogue. I just kind of forgot how. Once again, don't really need to dump all this speech here. I did just because why not? I might recommend getting to 80 even if you do want to min-max a little bit more, just for the sake of not having to remember to equip Benny's armor. You can see we're going to grab comprehension there on that level. Talk to Victor, head on into the cocktail lounge. In the cocktail lounge, there is a safe. You're going to use that locksmith's reader to get our lockpick up to 50 and crack it open. There's a stealth boy in there, and that is what we want. That is our second stealth boy for the route. That will be all we'll need for this particular route. You can grab more. There's a couple other pickups if you want to be a little bit safer in some sections, but I don't personally think it's necessary for this particular run. We're going to open up the antechamber, immediately menu, and stealth boy. That will instantly de-aggro the Securitron that just got mad at you and allow you to safely walk in through here. Unlock the control room elevator. And crack open Mr. House. Once you've cracked it open, you can go ahead and equip the grenade launcher. Pop him a couple times. And that is Mr. House dead. Just be careful that you don't pop yourself. If you don't want to use the grenade launcher, you can use literally anything else. You can punch him to death if you want. I just like using the grenade launcher because it's kind of fun. When you come up here, be careful. These Securitrons are a little weird. Sometimes they will not aggro. Sometimes they will. Most of the time, you're safe at around this point. I personally don't uncrouch until after I pass these stairs. You will hear them say engaging target, but they will de-aggro the minute they see you. It's very weird. Sometimes I've seen them not de-aggro. I've seen people get hit there because the Securitrons just decide to shoot them anyway. It's a little weird. New Vegas do be New Vegas sometimes. So play it on the safe side. Crouch until you get to the stairs. You should be okay. Now we need to pop into the Gamora. Become intimately familiar with the operations of the Omertas. And head on out to the strip proper. Because we are on our way to the Boomers! Yay! The Boomers! During this section in Freeside, our Stealth Boy is still up. So we are somewhat a little more stealthy. There are Freeside thugs that are scripted to spawn and start going after you. You're going to start hearing gunshots in a second from that Kings member we just passed shooting at them. In my personal experience with the Stealth Boy, and if you're just making a straight beeline, you shouldn't have to worry about them hitting you. They, from what I've seen at this level, spawn with melee weapons. But if you want to be more careful, you can hit their triggers and then kill them yourself with any number of the weapons that you have. We're going to quickly pop into Old Mormon Fort for the main reason that we don't want to wait in the middle of Freeside because random Freeside thug spawns can get scary, and we're just going to quickly wait till daytime. Now, once we're out the Freeside North Gate, we're pretty much just going to be following this little overpass here all the way over to Nellis. This is where the angry Brahmin are that I was thinking of, up on the hill to the left here. You can see them up there. Just give them a wide berth. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. We're going to head on up. You'll want to stay to the left here so that George doesn't yell at you for, you know... What does he want again? He's like trying to make a bet with you that you can't make it. Get people killed because he thinks it's funny. Gotta love George. Now, this section can seem a little stressful at first, but it's actually relatively consistent unless you do something stupid like I do here. So you're going to both get to see what to do and what not to do for this little section here. Once you hear that little noise, I'll play it back again so you can hear it a second time. That noise right there, that is the noise that indicates that the boomers have spotted you. You have a little bit of time, so what I tend to do is walk a little bit further forward. Menu, that's where our turbo is going to come in. One turbo is going to be enough because we have Logan's Loophole. If you are doing some form of other run and don't have Logan's Loophole, one turbo is not going to be enough to make it, even with the pathing I'm going to show here. So you want to hit the turbo. Now, very important, this looks like you can make it through this gap, right? In these rocks. That looks about a player width. No, you can't. You can't make it through here. You will get stuck. And if you don't realize you got stuck fast enough, it can get you hit from going too slow. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know. I got lucky in this run. I got stuck there because I did that exact thing of walking through the gap that looks like a player can fit through it. I got stuck. Still didn't get hit in this run, but I have gotten hit that way in the past. So you can see, you get stuck. So walk around those rocks, hug that little fence there, and pretty much you're going to be running straight towards this plant right here as quickly as you can. You can hear the gunshots. 1, 2. If you do that correctly and don't get stuck on the rock, they should only shoot once. As you can see, we didn't get hit in this scenario. But if they're getting 2 or more shots off, there's a fair chance that you'll have been too slow and they can hit you. But as long as you're careful and don't run into that rock, this section should be pretty safe and consistent.
I'll take this from here.
Go ahead and just top dialogue all the way through.
Welcome, child.
We are now very familiar with the boomers, and that's good enough for Yes Man. So now let's go deal with the Brotherhood. And by deal with the Brotherhood, I mean talk to Best Girl Veronica.
No offense, but
Go ahead and once again just top dialogue option Veronica until you get to this section. Tell her that you're good to travel with her and recruit her as a companion. Gonna head to Hidden Valley. When you fast travel here, there are 2 bark scorpions to the left of where you spawn in. You'll kind of just want to move out of the way a little bit. They'll aggro onto Veronica most of the time. She'll kill them pretty quick, but just grab shotgun, varmint rifle, whatever you want, and take them out. Not too bad. Once you've taken those 2 out, none of the others should aggro on you unless you go in a crazy direction in Hidden Valley. Head on over into the Brotherhood bunker entrance. And then let Veronica place her McDonald's order.
I'd like a large atomic shake and a double Brahmin burger. And easy on the agave sauce this time.
We gave you a password, Veronica. It's for your safety.
I know where you live, Ramos. Open up.
For Pete's sake. Opening up. Welcome back, Veronica.
Gonna quickly talk to Ramos here.
Listen up. I'm in charge.
We now know that we do not give a damn about the Brotherhood, and we're going to dismiss Veronica.
What'd you think of Mr. House? Nice. Can I order rooms?
With the Brotherhood taken care of, that is all of the factions spoken to. Or, I guess in the Khan's case, I've walked by the correct rock. Now we're going to head back into the strip. You'll want to be careful. There is a event where a poor individual tries to get into the strip. You will hear oh, it didn't do it this time. Huh, interesting. I think it's triggered by old Ben talking to you. I'm not exactly sure. But either way, just be careful. Be aware. If you're fast enough, you shouldn't get collateraled by the Securitrons, but you can get collateraled by the Securitrons. So if you do see that the guy is running towards the door, just
Hey, baby.
let him get killed and then head on in. Yep, head on back into the tops, back up to Yes Man. He is in the same spot he was. All you gotta do is just talk to him, say, hey buddy, I got a new house for you. Go to the Lucky 38. And we shall as well. Head on in. We get the very loud cutscene noise. Very loud cutscene noise. Wow. Talk to Yes Man. And inform him that I am familiar with all the given tribes. Boomers, Khans, Omertas, Mortimer, and the Brotherhood. And he will give us the... Oh, yeah. Before he gives us the chip, he will offer us the ability to do You'll Know It When It Happens. We want to tell him that the NCR hates us. And then he will be like, oh, okay, then you don't have to go do You Know It When It Happens. Nah, it's fine. And he'll give you the little chip for the El Dorado substation. Up on out of the Lucky 38. Head on over to... You can either go from Repcon or from 188 Trading Post. It doesn't really make much of a difference. Either way, you're going to be following these power pylons here. I kind of crest over the hill and then follow them once I get over the hill. Go ahead and equip your NCR armor around this time. You can wait until you get a little closer, but you'll want to have your NCR armor on, otherwise the NCR will not take kindly to you sneaking into the substation that allows them to control where the power goes. So as you can see, crest on over the hill. And follow the power lines. As you can see, 188 is probably a little bit closer. I've always just fast traveled to Repcon headquarters for this, so that's what's in my muscle memory. But after thinking about it for a little bit, I think 188 is probably a little faster. Once again, very minor detail. Doesn't really matter too much. But once we get here, El Dorado substation, you will get yelled at.
Stay out of the control room.
Keep an eye out for Legion raiding parties.
That's fine. Just go on in. You're in an NCR uniform. And even though they just told you not to go in there, they won't really mind. Once that's placed, we can head on back to the strip. This is the time in this run where
You look really free, so.
old Ben speaks to me, and the guy tries to sprint at the door. In this particular run, I just kind of ran through here. The perk you take here doesn't matter. Since I was filming the tutorial, I figured I'd look through and check if there was anything that did anything that we gave a damn about. Not really. You're not killing much. Or really, you're not killing anything else at this point. So there's no real need for anything else. I just took Terrifying Presence because it's funny. But realistically, just pick whatever perk your mouse is closest to and move on. You'll hear... That is the guy trying to sprint to the door. As you can see, we beat him, so there wasn't an issue there. But just be aware, if you're a little slow, or if you're walking in, especially if you're not fast traveling in and you're just walking in normally through Freeside, that's something you definitely should be very aware of and cognizant of. Once we're here... Give a good old chat to good old Yes Man. And to the dam we go. Now, the dam, I would say, is probably the most stressful segment of the run to actually do. Just because you're getting close to the end of the run, and it's a lot of stealthing past enemies that are staring directly at you. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but... And it also does require some care. What I like to do here is crouch walk forward until I get put into caution, and then Stealth Boy. It would probably be a little safer to Stealth Boy a little earlier than this. Just so that you never go into caution in the first place. Going into caution is risky. If an enemy sees you and goes to danger while you're already in caution, they'll usually just take a shot immediately, whereas if they just start seeing you the first time, it'll take them a second to realize you're there and take a second to take a shot. But we're going to hop on over this wall, stick to the right, just hop over the sandbags. You can hop over the sandbags while crouched, no big deal. Once we head on into the dam proper, head on here to the left, give a chat to these heavy troopers, and speech check them, and head on through the door. Install the override chip, and now we're going to go blow up some things. I always turn left here by accident. This is not the direction you go. It's just weird force of habit that shouldn't be there, and I do it every run I do. I run there by mistake first. Pretty much every time. You're just gonna run this way. You'll want to make sure to close that door. Heavy troopers can see through your disguise, and you will be aggroed to the NCR once you hit this switch. So be aware of that and shut that door for safety's sake. Throw your NCR clothes on, hit the button, immediately walk to the door. There'll be some Legion guys over there. You might get collateraled, so be as fast as you can. Stick to the left here in case the heavy troopers decide to pop open that door. It'll give you a little bit more time to work with. Once you're around the corner, you can go ahead and uncrouch, because once again, you're disguised and you won't run into any of the NCR that will see you from this point on. Once you get around this corner, go ahead and put on your Legion armor. You see, there's this guy, but he shouldn't be too big of a deal. Now, you'll actually want to go in that door. Once again, my brain getting confused at where the hell in the dam I am. So I went the wrong way, and I'm like, this isn't right. Oops. Oopsies. So, yeah, just head on over through this door, back up and out of the dam. And you are pretty much home free from this point. Do be aware that the explosives from the Securitrons can be a little scary. What we're going to do is hop onto these sandbags here. I messed up the jump to get onto the railing. But just get up onto the railing. Stay away from them. Try and avoid the explosions. You can drop down right onto there without taking any fall damage. I just kind of kept walking down the railing a little bit longer, but you can drop down as early as that. Be aware that the Securitrons may shoot at the Legionnaires that just popped out of this door here. I have seen explosions go off here. So just be aware of that. Like, you see a laser shot kind of shot over here. It won't happen very often, but just be aware that if a Legion guy just decides to stand next to the door, you know, watch what the Securitrons are aggroed on. Maybe turn around, look, check on them. Once we're in the Legion camp, we are all safe and good to go. As you can see, the Legion guys just do not give a damn. They're like, oh, hey, yo, it's one of us. Just mysteriously walking in all wibbly and half invisible. Once we get up the steps here, going to pop that meeting people for the rest of our speech to get us to speech 100.
And who is
And speech down the legate. You're going to go top option. You're going to go top option again, and then you're going to hit the speech checks every single time here. As you can see, they increase in speech difficulty every time. There's victory and wisdom, and final speech check.
war would have
Now with Oliver, who takes a while to walk up sometimes. Tell him about the boys.
Guess it ain't no secret.
Tell him to leave. Tell him that you don't want violence. Tell him that they've outsayed the welcome. Go ahead and bluff with speech 100, and then just top option him the rest of the way. And that right there is Fallout New Vegas. No hit. Any percent. Yes man ending. I dumped unarmed because it doesn't matter. The game is over. Bye, Oliver. And hello, end of the game. So that is pretty much everything you need to know for this run. I will quickly bump through the thing here. We reload into the system save that it made, and as you can see, we were actually on hard difficulty. I intended to do this tutorial at normal, since normal is the kind of expected difficulty for these runs, but I accidentally set it to hard, and by accidentally I mean I think I left it on hard from a casual playthrough, because that's normally where I put my casual playthrough difficulties at. So this run was done on hard. All these strats will apply just fine to normal, very hard. So whatever you prefer, as long as you're above normal, you can, or at normal or higher, you can submit it to Team Hitless. Once again, if you're planning on submitting to Team Hitless, make sure you have the frame counter. Make sure you read through the rules on the website to make sure that your run doesn't get doesn't get rejected for missing one of the rules. And with that being said, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope this helps out anyone who's looking into running this game. If you have any questions about anything in the run, feel free to leave a comment and ask. I'm always happy to answer questions that I can. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you guys next time for whatever else it may be. Probably another run soon, hopefully. Maybe. Thank you, and goodbye.